Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? That your phone's microphone is constantly hot and it's listening for keywords to target advertising. Most glaring instance where this happened to me was when I walked into a colleague's office. He had just gotten a standing desk, but one that goes on top of his existing desk, rather than a standalone, pun, model. That's important to note. I said, nice standing desk. When did you get that? Thanks, just today. He replied. That was literally all that was said about the desk. We talked about work related stuff, and as I walked out and checked my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for that exact model of standing desk. I have never owned one, wanted one, or googled one before. Yet there it was on my feed. Tinfoil hat be damned, they listen in. That Duterte was murdered by the Catholic Church for exposing a pedophile ring. This is trending on r/conspiracy and r/at off the loop right now. Credit to you/update for the summary. Duterte, a model/TV journalist, exposed a pedophile ring on live Argentinian TV a few months ago after following cases over the last few years. She had claimed that she would not commit suicide in April of 2018 while investigating these rings, but was found on February 23, 2019 to be dead from suicide. Another journalist she had accused of pedophilia on the airing, Luis Ventura, had uploaded an image of her dead body shortly after she killed herself on Twitter, and then promptly deleted it afterwards. To quote you/Happy Cake Day 1, she supposedly died from a cocaine overdose, heart failure/stroke. She had said that if she wound up dead, the people she had accused of rape, she was on trial, and it was powerful people, would be guilty. I won't kill myself. I won't overdose and drown in a bathtub. I won't shoot myself. Miley Cyrus's crazy streak was all a carefully planned marketing scheme to get her solidified as an A-list celebrity. I believe it was done to make Disney completely cut ties with her and kill the image of Hannah Montana. It's worked too. Hannah Montana was quite possibly Disney's largest TV show ever, but I haven't seen anyone even mention it for over 4 years now. And despite Disney cashing in on old types, Aladdin, Kim Possible, Lion King etc., we have yet to even hear an unsubstantiated rumor regarding Hannah Montana. The Vatican holds horrible dark secrets and many answers to existential questions. And that Area 51 is a publicity stunt by the government to hide the real testing facility. I believe that Area 51 has some stuff that they wouldn't want getting out, but I think it's all pretty normal and the general public wouldn't find too shocking. It's definitely hyped up though, to distract us from some other base where the real weird shit goes down. The president of the Philippines, Duterte, is very anti-drugs to hide his own involvements with drug cartels off which he makes billions. Funny enough, he once told supporters that if his own children were found to be dealing in drugs, they should be executed. Not long after, one of his children was found to be involved with a big shipment of cocaine. IIRC. Still alive. I may be shaky on some of the details here, but I remember reading this on Duterte's Wikipedia page. I'm at work, we'll find the source later, if anyone is interested. Edit. Thanks to everyone who has posted sources in the comments. I got some of the details wrong. Meth, not coke, etc. But the gist is accurate. Also, Duterte had a past drug issue with fentanyl that nobody really knows if he's clean from, and apparently smokes weed. The Laurel Canyon Conspiracy. Basically, if you look at the counterculture revolutionaries in the music industry in the 60s, most of them were the children of military intelligence people. So the theory is that the free love, lots of drugs movement they inspired was done intentionally to distract the youth from a full-scale revolution. The thought was, if the angry youth of the mid to late 60s were too high and getting laid all the time, they would stop caring as much about societal ills and then basically sleepwalk through the 70s, which they did. I stumbled upon this when I was reading up on Jim Morrison and how his father was the one who called in the fake strike at the Gulf of Tonkin that kicked off the Vietnam War and which was shown later to have been a false flag. Turns out, a lot of his contemporaries were also children of highly placed military people with ties to intelligence. Strange that they all wound up in Laurel Canyon as part of the same movement. The recommended food pyramid is created by the FDA, but the FDA is funded by a lot of certain food industries, poultry, dairy, etc. They in turn made the recommended nutrition based off of their funding by these companies and not based on a well-balanced diet. I have long argued to friends and family that Barack Obama may have been a CIA operative sometime in between college and being a community organizer in Chicago. Bear with me. After graduating from Columbia in 1983, Obama went to work for a company called Business International Corporation, a company that is known to have been used as a CIA front in the past. There is little information available about this time in Obama's life. The CIA was actively recruiting at that point in history and would have been very interested in a young black man with an Ivy League education and ties to Indonesia and Africa. The information would most likely still be classified, but it could also have helped his rapid accession in politics at such a young age. After nursing this theory for a while, I finally googled it, and, sure enough, loads of websites tout similar theories. Some of it convincing. Not the stuff about him being a CIA crony nor who fought Russians on the moon. That angle is less convincing. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory at this point, but a lot of people still don't acknowledge that your internet searches and social media profiles are absolutely being used as training models by major rig companies. I was a drunk college student and had access to them to run AI training. If you still think you're off the grid, you're an idiot. Being frank, it's not a big deal. If you don't have dark shit to hide, those people are too busy building the new technological world to give a shit that you look at midget porn. But don't delude yourself to think people don't have access to anything you do on the internet. Amelia Earhart was taken prisoner by the Japanese. There's another theory that she crashed on an island and starved to death. A skeleton from around the right time period was found, I think, and the flesh was eaten by coconut crabs. Really upsetting imagining a horde of giant monsters ripping her flesh off. Edit. A word edit too. I didn't say the crabs ate her alive, I'm saying they might have eaten her body after she died, possibly from starvation/exposure. There's a conspiracy theory that Flight 93 was shot down by hastily scrambled jet fighters and/or missiles in the interest of public safety, and that the government made up the relatively wholesome "the passengers decided to fight the hijackers and sacrifice themselves" story to keep up morale. I don't know whether it happened or not, but I can entirely believe it might be true. In that situation, that honestly seems like a good move to make. In all likelihood the plane was going to smash into something and kill even more, and the morale boost of the fabricated storyline would certainly sit better with the public. That research of thorium as a safer nuclear power source was suppressed in favor of uranium research due to uranium's ability to be weaponized. Edit. On my lunch break and see that this kinda blew up. A lot of good information in the comments. I'm not a physicist or an engineer. My field is environmental studies, so safer, cleaner energy is important to me. That being said, I obviously have not researched this topic enough. It just seems to pop up in conspiracy topics often. See YouTube. Looks like a good discussion. I'll have to read through it all after work. The government spreads insane conspiracy theories that conspiracy nutters will latch onto to distract from actual conspiracies. Like flooding the conspiracy market to devalue conspiracies. Edit. Dear Allah, I get it. Michael Scott, The Office, Stanley, Gossip episode. Do you guys ever check to see if anyone else made that comment? The CIA was involved in selling crack to low-income black neighborhoods to fund activities they couldn't get approved by Congress. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people believe there was some involvement and it's just a matter of degree. But I think they were nuts deep in directly smuggling and selling crack through intermediaries to black communities with full knowledge of the Justice Department and executive branch. Edit Judes. I just want to clarify the fact that the CIA was involved in some degree of drug smuggling is generally considered a well-attested fact. The degree to which they were involved in the proliferation of crack, the motivations behind this, and the degree to which the president or presidents knew of and condoned or even ordered all of this is a little more debatable. When we want to learn about the up-close and personal behavior and interaction of animals, we make animatronic spy bots that disguise themselves as members of the community we want to study. We then set them loose with the children, who are more accepting of them, and either trick them into thinking the spy bot is another one of them, or that it's just a toy. Parents are initially confused, but usually go along with it. I believe that if aliens do exist and they are watching us, they would use this same tactic. In fact, we may have already seen it implemented. Furbies. Jimmy Savile was England's most famous DJ and was friends with the Queen, prime ministers, other celebrities, and specifically was in cahoots with the elites at BBC. He also raped over 50 children at a hospital that he was given the keys to, and BBC refuses to investigate him after his death because they will be exposed. Savile died in 2011, and in 2014 the government came up with a report solidifying that Savile ran a pedophile ring and was raping kids at hospitals. Darth Jar Jar was totally intended to be a thing, but George Lucas chickened out after the backlash against Jar Jar/TPM and the idea never went through. I'm not saying I would bet my life savings on this one, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if it was someday confirmed. The main evidence that makes me think this one is likely is the fact that they actually animated him saying other characters' lines. That's not an acting mistake that slipped through the cracks. That's a conscious design choice that took time and effort to execute. Why would they do that, but then never once address it? Less likely but still believable to me is that Tupac is still out there and is coming back someday, or will be revealed to have been alive this whole time after his actual death in the future. Again, I'm definitely not putting money on this one, but if it ever happened I don't think it would faze me in the slightest. The evidence for this one is less solid, but 30 Rock did make a throwaway reference to it once, and they were right about Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby long before those stories came out, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were also right about this.